Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, I forgot to set the music to repeat. There we go. Oh boy. This is probably the dumbest idea I've ever had for a project, ever. But I love it. This is gonna be great. So let me kind of just explain the idea. We're gonna be making balloons for Project Ruby. Balloons. What specifically about balloons? Well, my idea for balloons is quite simple. It's a utility item. And depending on the type of balloon and depending on your elemental power, balloons will do different things based off of when you blow them up. So I was thinking, like, if you use wind to blow up a balloon, then it gives you slow falling. It also allows you to I guess glide, per se. I don't know. My idea is kind of complicated. We're not gonna worry about that today. If you use fire to blow it up, then you get like a hot air balloon, and then that gives you creative flight. If you use water, then you got like a water balloon, and you could chuck it, and it does like a massive explosion of water, and you can extinguish fire and short circuit enemies that way. I'm not sure what to do with Earth. Earth kind of doesn't make sense with a balloon. Looking for ideas there. But I feel like we should get started with, like, at the very least, a model, and we can kind of go from there. I'm not really sure, like, how to make this, because originally I was thinking like some sort of armor piece. I just wanted to get like a model and get this thing functioning. I think that's a good start for like the base. And we'll do like that as like the knot. I'm not going off of a reference image. I'm just kind of working. I also wasn't planning on streaming today, so that's actually a better idea. I think this one needs to be bigger. Scratch that, I think it needs to be smaller. Let me just do something like that, maybe? I don't really know. How do you make a balloon? I'm sure Minecraft. I could just do like. You know what? That's probably a better idea. Just embrace Minecraft's blocky style. That doesn't really look like a balloon. Looks a little bit better. Then we just duplicate that, put it up top. Shrink it by 1. I see it looks a little bit better. Now, one thing I want to do is add a flat poly. Bring that about there, center it. Then we take this whole thing and we move it up about to there. Okay, I want that up one more. This poly will make sense in a minute. Then we can group all this. Balloon. And then we go into display, and on the head, we get this thing about like that. That's what I'm thinking. It just kind of like chills over the player's head. And then now we can paint it, create texture. Fire balloon. We'll do fire first because I feel like fire is going to be the easiest. Color palettes, elemental. First we can do like the string. I suppose we should... string kind of in there. I need to make sure I'm doing this right. And then we just erase everything else. Hopefully this poly makes sense now. Although I don't really like the swerviness of the string. I think that needs to be a little bit less swervy. I think that's good. As far as like the actual like balloon itself, I'm thinking like a lighter shade of orange should do. And like lighter bits in the corners. One thing's for certain. I need to ghost that and remove this color here. Now we can put it back. That's like very bare bones. They give us like a border to work with. I think that works. Oh, that's a problem. There we go. Now that it's like painted, I feel like it would almost be better without this bottom bit. Yeah, I think I like that better. And then we just look at it on the player side. I don't think that's bad. Though maybe it should be bigger. I don't think that's bad at all. So now what we're gonna do, save that there. Balloon. I'm gonna make other variants as well. I just wanted to get this item done. New file. That's absurdly large. Okay, so let's see. Load palette. Where did I save that? Fun items. Balloon. I don't remember what color we were, so I'm just gonna go with it. Almost looks like a rocket. I wonder. That looks okay. I can always go back and change it later. I just want to get this functional. Don't save that. Close that. Alright. Also, I did change my wallpaper. And updated to Windows 11 recently. That's another reason I haven't been streaming, because I wasn't really sure how well streaming on Windows 11 would be. Kind of nervous to do it, but we're here. Second snapshot, 2026.1. That should be interesting. Well, first things first, I want to make a new folder. Fun items. This will be more like silly things like balloons. I'm just gonna do a test. Actually, I can look at... I'm just gonna close that out. I can look at the elemental powers. See how I did that. Okay, so... Item model normal. Firearm. That's the model. That's that. properties, invisible texture. Okay, and then there's that fancy stuff. Okay. Is that even gonna work with this? Hold on, let me check. Elemental powers. Elemental arm. What type of model is this? This is entity. Okay, so I just need to convert this to entity. But while I'm here, I might as well make that change. Yeah, I like that better. And then paint. I'm gonna paint the top of it as well, but that's okay. Square. In which case, we take that color. We do that on all faces. Yeah, I like that. I like that better. Actually, clear unused space and then save it. Okay, there we go. File. Convert project to modded entity. Well, that never worked. That never works. Okay. That's fine. Create new texture. Fire balloon. Paint. Palette. Import palette. Find items. Fire balloon. Burn. Oddly enough, the string still works. Which I think that's funny. So there's that. I want this color. Shape, fill that. I think this is going to be a really fun mechanic. Because it's like, it's so different from everything else. And it's just fun. It's just whimsy or whatever. It's just fun. Let me go back and look at that item texture. Okay, file, save. This needs to be one block lower. I say one block, I mean 1 pixel. It's gonna match the item texture. Okay. So we can delete that. Fire balloon texture. File, save project. File, export. Java entity. Find items. Balloon. Okay. Now I can go into that file. delete that. Hello. Shouldn't you be doing schooling? Okay. We were all good there. Now we can go back into here. 3D model input on break. Okay. Does mom know about that? Fun items, balloon. No animation. Okay. Alright. So obviously you just showed up. So let me kind of explain what the heck I'm doing. I had this stupid idea last night, and it was so funny that I wanted to actually do it. And it's the idea of a balloon. Fire balloon. Which is right there. We want that to be balloon. From armor, item model, normal. Item is... So... What's the balloon for? The balloon is a fun mechanic. So... My idea is... You'll get these balloons in certain levels, and by blowing them up while using specific elemental powers, the balloon itself has different properties. In this case, the fire balloon, it'll grant creative flight. Because, you know, it's like a hot air balloon. However, in the case of a balloon, it's obviously very fragile. Taking any damage will pop it. So it's just kind of like a fun, like, flying mechanic. And I had different ideas for different balloons as well. Properties. Blank. Clear that. We'll put that in elemental powers. Maximum damage. This does nothing. Damage values. This should be set to 1. Enchantability. We're gonna do none. No, none of that. Triggers. Entity, actually player actions. We just do that. And then we just do that. And in theory, this should work. Yeah, my hope for this item is that it'll just be a silly little thing that you can get your hands on, and it'll make for some interesting levels. It'll also make for some interesting late game levels as well. Having to do flight parkour and boss battles while flying, I think would be really challenging and fun. You'd have to like blow up multiple balloons. I think it'd just be really fun. It has no purpose or no like significance whatsoever to like the lore or the story or anything like that. It's just a fun idea. And you know what? I need more of those in my life. I need more fun ideas. And more peanuts. Which are absolutely delicious. I love them. I don't need that full screen. Yeah, let's just go into New World. So one thing I forgot to grab was water. And I feel like I'm gonna regret that. I'm gonna have to go on break or something. Alright. Elemental powers, there's the balloon. Oh, that's interesting. I don't take fall damage. And also the balloon is not rendering on my head. Okay, that's cool. Alright, time to fix the visual model. Why is this not? That's probably why. Maybe that'll work. This is the fun part about mCreator, just testing and figuring out like what works, what doesn't work. If something doesn't work, how do you fix it? It's fun. I love this. Now, later down the road, I'm going to want to grant, like, specific conditions, like, you have to have fire equipped, and you also have to have... Oh. That's not where it's supposed to render. Also, it looks like we got some Z fighting. That's interesting. But it is rendering. Just got a balloon. Just chilling on my back. Alright. I don't actually know how to fix that. And also, I think I should delete the pixels on the sides since it seems to be rendering through and doing some Z fighting. Delete that one as well. Let me pull this up again. So if I control C this, and control V. Okay. No, that's pivot tool, not move. And then save project, export. We will replace that. Minimize that, open this. Resources, 3D models. Let's see. Delete anyways. Import a new. No animation. And then open this, save that. Oh wait, we have to replace that texture. Textures for entities. Replace selected. There we go. And then now it should work. I hope. I think I broke the loading screen. There we go. Now it should work. Yay! That's working. Now, one thing I need to test is what happens to the durability. Ah. That's not overpowered at all. Yeah, these balloons are a little bit more durable than I wanted them to be. So what I'm thinking is happening is what is it, F3 and G? No, F3 and H. Tooltip shown. Yep, that's exactly what I thought it would be. So armor durability has scaled ratios between the different pieces, and for the helmet it's times 11. So if I set it to 1, it does 11. So what I can do is make sure that I remove the ability to fly if the player is not wearing the helmet. So if I set it to 0, its durability should be 1, because 11, anything times 0 I think is 1. Okay. So what is this? Helmet tech event. Helmet equipped. No, I like this. I don't think that's gonna work. I did save the durability, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Well, dang. That's a tricky one. How do I do that? Well, first let's just test the durability. I'm definitely gonna have to get some balloons. I'm gonna have to go to the store, grab some balloons, and record some audio. Because I definitely would like to have a custom pop sound effect for when these things explode. Something to consider. Something I gotta take care of later. Balloon. Hit me. Yep, it popped. Wow, that... What's the level on that? I'm assuming it's 10. Yeah, it's 10. Okay, so the balloon works. Durability works. It grants the ability to fly when... What if it breaks? I mean, this guy's gonna... Yeah, that guy's gonna kill me. Nope, wrong element. He's just standing there, menacingly. Hit me. I can still fly. Even though the balloon's obviously broken, I can still fly. How do I fix that? So that obviously doesn't work. So let's try something. Balloon on player tick update. On player tick update. So we set that to that. Okay. We need... okay. Get item from armor slot. What is that? That 3. Oh. Yeah, does that right shows me. That's nifty. I like that they put that in. That's really nice. I appreciate that. So if get item from slot 3 equals fire balloon. Actions. Allow player to fly. Otherwise don't. That might work. Because what's that doing is, if there's no balloon in their inventory, then or in their on their head, then they can't fly. That's what I think this should do. Because what was happening before is because the item was broke, or because the item broke, it couldn't, like, it couldn't tell the player to stop flying because the item's gone and it can no longer update. But this procedure is not bound by that limitation, so this should work. Who's in Medicare? That was probably one of the funniest videos on this channel. Among Us, but we're all on helium. That was probably one of my favorite videos. Well, I'm not flying anymore. Hold on, computer's having some issues. Okay, we're still live. It's really weird. I'm noticing it's kind of weird. Like, sometimes it doesn't let me go up. So what I should do instead is make it so that way it's always flying. Maybe that fixes the issue. Actually, let me just try the same procedure on this first. And just delete that real quick. I know I can't undo it, but it's fine. It wasn't a complicated procedure. Did not register the start button. It's most definitely a silly idea. And I'm okay with it. The alternative is having it so that way the player holds the item in order to fly. But if I do that, then there's not really a way to do a boss fight now, is there? Because the player needs to be holding the balloon in order to fly, and if the boss is up in the air, which I do have plans to do that, then how are you supposed to hit the boss if you're holding a balloon? The balloon's just gonna pop. Nice to know that still works. I've got it on my head, but it's not letting me fly. Oh boy. I have no idea why that is the case. YouTube is not receiving enough data, it's saying. That is really weird. That is helmet, right? Yeah, that is helmet. That's really weird. Okay, so I think the stream just had a hiccup. For whatever reason. I do apologize about that. I'm still trying to figure out how streaming works on Windows 11. Because I'm assuming that's the reason it's being buggy is because it's Windows 11. Why aloha? Okay, now I can fly no problem. Wow, that just instantly killed me. MLG wind. I gotta have to think about fall damage. Because I was just designing the next level yesterday. And I ran into quite an interesting issue where it's like, okay, how do you get from point A to point B if fall damage is a problem? Because I've got a case where it's a heated biome. Well, it could be a heat. It could be choking. It could be a heated biome. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is. Yeah, that's annoying. Alright, I need to take more time to think about this. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here. It's just a simple little stream. I'm gonna go here. I got some thinking to do. And also I've got some other things that I need to take care of. I only had an hour, so I'm just gonna call it here. Thank you, Danny, for showing up stream. I appreciate it. Anybody watching the replay, I will see you guys, well, potentially in another one. We'll see. Catch you later.